Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Revere Sky, Revere Skyes Essence. So, I want to chat about something that's very important for the female um, body, the female manifestation. Very important, very important. Few key facts, questions women ask. The great Dr. Sadie, and a bit of controversial parts to it too. But women should know this. If you start from scratch and you raise your children right, you don't have to correct. You don't have to correct yourself. That's like if you eat fruits and vegetables your whole life and never get addicted to meat or attached to meat or dairy. 9 out of 10, you won't ever build up mucoid plaques. Okay? So what I want to talk about is eating more fruits and vegetables to help the womb to stay connected to source, whether that be your father, your mother, or the Holy Ghost, or whatever you want, but being connected to source. You have a womb for a reason. You have a gateway for a reason. You have a portal for a reason. And you don't want to be living your whole life trying to correct your womb. I made a past video that talked about don't be mad at that little girl that gets pregnant. Because 9 out of 10, if she waits till she's 28 or 30, she may never have a child because of the agenda, the silent agenda that's going on with Planned Parenthood and stuff, and these chemicals and this warfare that's causing people to be sterile, okay? Also, a lot of women are becoming sterile due to hormone imbalance and toxins. That's right, toxins. Your liver is not the only thing that removes toxins from the body. Your uterus, your kidneys, all of that removes toxins from the body. In the process, if you're eating foods with chemicals, meaning it didn't come straight from source, it didn't come straight from nature, your body has to work extra hard to remove this stuff. Some of these chemicals are designed to create and build up stress and trauma in the body. When you start building up stress and trauma, and then the world around you start caving in on you, these chemicals start to activate as fibroids, tumors, cysts, polyps, because the body is not using the right alchemical structure, meaning the proper God foods, to regenerate the cells, to release the putrid, release the toxins. You have a cellular structure that repairs itself every day. Ask yourself this. When you eat seafood, when you eat crabs, when you eat fish, I eat it now. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I feel like there's nutrients in those properties, and that's like that tri-product instead of byproduct. That's tri-product. But you can smell the seafood if you're not detoxing. You can smell the seafood from your anus. It's leaching into your vagina, okay? So what am I getting at? What am I getting at? If you eat properly and raise your daughter properly, raise your son properly so he won't get inflammation, and that's going to be a whole nother story, but he's going through the same problem. At 35 and 36 and 40, he has a limp or a bend in his phallus. and the blood is not flowing. They'll rather take Viagra, hormone stimulators, but they don't want to correct it. So you can prevent having to correct that issue if you start right from the beginning. But that's a whole nother story. I'll get on men in another video. So, woman, omen, it's time that you raise your daughters with much fruit and vegetable as possible. Clean Sabian grains, alkaline grains as possible. When you're coming on your menstruation, it's good that you eat fruits and vegetables and quinoa and chickpeas and salads. Not with that ranch, not with those artificial dressings, but with natural dressings like lemon and herbs and olive oil. A little dab of agave if you want it to be sweet. You know, you are the chef, you're the alchemist. So let's talk about Dr. Sebi. There was a video. There was a video out that said, the lady asked, well, Dr. Sebi, all these women are on their herbs and following your vegetarian diet, and they're not coming on their periods anymore. I wasn't on the Sabian herbs, but I had started that vegan diet. And let me tell you something. Being a vegan for 6 months, I didn't have any more periods. I literally had to start eating fish and seafood and chicken to start back having periods. I would go 8 months without having a period. Now, there's a key factor to it, though. If you're used to having periods and you all of a sudden stop having periods, it's gone by the wrong process, because you'll start building up layers in your uterus. That's right. You'll start building up layers in your uterus. The lady also asked, are these women still able to become pregnant if they do not have a period? And he said yes. Now the thing about it is, let me get this straight. If you were introduced to veganism and herbalism young, before your body started producing layers or houses that have to be evacuated, meaning the lining has to come out. Every time you have a menstruation, the lining has to come out. The house. Your uterus always builds a new house to stabilize the egg. So if you start young, staying clean, not eating things that would cause damage to the uterus or stress to the uterus, you probably will never build a house. You probably will never build a lining, okay? But if you eat toxins and putrid, just the same way your big colon can hold on to mucoid plaque, the same way your uterus can hold on to mucoid plaque. And this is how you can tell it to be true, even if you don't believe it. Why are certain women starting to accumulate polyps in their uterus? Polyps is something that you accumulate in your intestines from eating toxin foods and not pooping on a regular. So if that poop is leaching into your uterus, there's a chance that you'll start having colon activity in your uterus. So Dr. Sebi said that a woman shouldn't have a period. Even Phil Valentine said a woman that has a period is is not healthy, is filthy. A lot of women around the world don't have periods. I mean, the third world countries or people that live in huts and stuff like India, Africa, there's a possibility they don't have periods. But when they start living in the workforce, when they start eating Americanized food, processed food that have a shelf life longer than your life, they all of a sudden their menstruation come on. When they start traveling and going to other countries, all of a sudden they start bleeding. This is things that they don't talk about. So if these women had children and everything and never had a period, that should tell you something. So my mother said, yeah, you got to have a period. You always got to shed your house and have another egg. How you going to hold the egg if you don't shed your house? Well, maybe you don't have to shed the house if you eat right from the beginning. Not only that, mineral loss. Mineral loss. Are you cramping in your feet? Are you cramping in your legs? Are you cramping in your hands and wrists? Mineral loss. The reason why you need to eat as many fruits and vegetables and less processed food, less shelf life food as possible, is because of mineral loss. The woman, the omen, has powers in her blood, but she cannot crank up those powers if she continues to spill her plasma, her honey. That's right. You have plasma in your blood. You have minerals that you were born with in your bone marrow. And if you continue to shed this blood, you have mineral loss. As you can see, men don't have mineral loss. But what do they do to the men? Why the men can't activate their pineal gland? They're not losing the blood. They poison them early. The vaccines they give them attacks them early. And the women too. But we're going to focus on the women right now. We bleed. We shed this lining. We shed this layer. We lose all the minerals that our parents gave to us, our mother. The gold, the silver. If you look at the periodic table or the mineral table on the back of foods, they'll have nickel in there. They'll have chromium in there. They'll have all this weird stuff, but you never see gold or silver on your food or your nutritional table. Why? They do not want you to have gold and silver in the body. Iridium, platinum. You mean to tell me that none of these plants around here are absorbing platinum, iridium, gold, and silver? They'll put copper on there. They'll put copper, but not on your food nutritional values. It's something to think about. Women, start with your children if you can't start with yourself. Start with your young ladies. Put them on a plant-based diet as much as possible so that their uterus can work at the optimum level and they won't bleed their nutrients out, their minerals out of their body. All the good stuff that you were blessed with from your parents. You wondering why your bones bending. Arthritis sets in. Inflammation sets in so easily because your body is not moving at a fast enough vibratory rate to eliminate those toxins. Your minerals are so important for you to connect with source, to connect with your true rooted potential. And if you keep bleeding out your plasma 7 days a month, 3 days a month, 2 weeks a month, periodic periods out the blue, if you have to keep shedding your lining and shedding fibroids and bleed out the blue, you're losing valuable resources, valuable minerals that keep you 100, that keep you psychologically conscious, psychologically powerful. Your gut is next to your uterus. Your uterus is a brain in itself. That's why they call it hysterectomies, hysteria, because it's all designed around a male principle. But you're going to have to start understanding that you have a way of protecting yourself too. Nobody's going to tell you this. All the elders are gone. You do not want to bleed out your honeycomb. You do not want to bleed out your plasma. And especially if you don't know how to put the nutrients back. There are certain things that your parents gave you from breast milk and from sitting in that womb for 9 months that are vital that you probably can't even create without your mother. Okay? I'm going to say that again. There are crucial substances and vital nutrition that, if lost, you may not be able to recreate it without being in a portal like your mother's. Because while you were sitting in your mother's womb for 9 months, you was also channeling alchemical structures from source. Okay? And if you bleed all this out, all this nutrient dense plasma and vitamins and minerals out of your body, you'll start weakening your bones, your teeth, your hair, your eyes, everything. So Bobby Hemmett said, you know, you got to bleed. You know what I mean? The woman is known for bleeding. That's true. But at some degree, if I go 6 months eating fruits and vegetables and my period stop, I mean, no Sabian herbs at all, that should tell you something, that we're wasting blood for no reason. There's a lot of women around the world that are having children and never had a period. We have to come back to truth. We have to come back to truth. The food we're eating is so filthy, so toxic, that it makes us bleed. The jobs and the lifestyle we live is so toxic that it makes us bleed. So today I'm telling women to preserve your minerals, preserve your honey, preserve your plasma, preserve your honeycomb. Don't allow this world to deviate you from your journey, your soul journey, and your path. You have a right to know that you need to preserve those minerals. You should not be bleeding 30 years and not know what's going on. You have a right to know what's going on. And another thing, women that have children young have a better chance of still having children. So women that wait to 35, 40, and you see some slip through the crack and be able to have a child, but a lot don't. Because it's a lot of hormone changes you got to go through to allow your shield to drop when you're having sex. When you're having sex, you have to allow your shield to drop. That's right. You have to allow that father principle to enter your body. And a lot of women think that, oh, I just can't have children. No, you really don't agree with that father principle. You don't agree with that that chemical that the men produce to shock your body to submit to babies. It's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. Sometimes it's not about what this world and what type of toxins they have. Sometimes some of us are straight woman, and if we had the right resources and the right knowledge, we may be on the bracket of parthenogenesis. I'm not saying you should, okay, I'm not saying that you should deny man, but at the same time, you should try to manifest your powers. Like you have some people say, oh, don't sleep in the same bedroom all the time. Let your energy reset. That's the same thing with your body. Try to elevate your powers through your ancient goddess, warrior type spirit. Don't allow the male's hormones to just take over your body. You know, the Chinese people had an article that said a lot of women are dying from being fucked. That's right. The Chinese article said a lot of women are dying from being fucked. And just imagine, first of all, you're getting shot up with hormones. So you feel different. You know what I mean? You vibing off love and lust, but you never actually did anything in life besides seeded the planet. Seeded the planet to keep a new system going. Look at this system. This system is about mining the planet, doing silent genocide. You sign your children over to the government. You have no right to spank your children or teach your children. And the people that are consciously aware are catching hell on teaching their own children and protecting their children from this system. Once you buy into this system, it's different. So I'm not telling you to deny your man, your husband, your boyfriend. What I'm telling you is know that no matter what you do, at some degree, you're being under attack. That's just like when a man spills his seed. He's at his most vulnerable state. Let that man go a month without having sex or spilling his seed, 2 months, 3 months. He got so much energy. He got so much stamina. Soon as he spilled that seed, he calmed back down. Life force energy done went somewhere else. So that galactic power dispersed. That's another thing about the woman. Her galactic powers, when they disperse and his hormones shoot her up. Remember, he was seeded on the planet to conquer the planet, to mine the planet. Remember the book with Inky and Enlil? He spilt his seed in women to mine the planet. They needed men to mine the planet. They didn't have robots. They used the flesh to mine the planet. It's something really to think about, y'all. Preserve your minerals in your body so that you can be in tune with nature, source, and yourself. And know if you can prevent multiple men's hormones from polluting your brain and your body, try to do that. If you can eat plants and stuff while you're on your period, just like when you don't eat blood cleansing herbs while you're on your period because it will change the cycle. it will stop your period. So if your period come on, you're supposed to not use herbs for cleansing because you need to allow the toxins to come out your uterus. I could touch many topics, many topics. Living from experience. Living from experience. We are highly distracted, even when it comes down to our counterparts, our partners, our friendships, our lovers, because the way we're being chemically induced, it does not truly 100% benefit our soul, our journey, our bodies, or our vessels. And another thing, we have been bought into a system that deters us from our path altogether. This life is strenuous. A guy the other day only had $6,000 left on his truck to pay off. He bought an 18-wheeler working for a company. Beautiful guy. If I showed him to you on Facebook, beautiful guy. But he always talk about turn the other cheek, don't let nobody hurt you and stuff. That guy went to New Orleans and pulled up on the side of the road, sat on the bridge, a melanated black guy, sat on the bridge and shot himself in the head that Friday. And then, this is recent. And I asked my friend, I said, well, did he take the jab? Like, you don't know what's going on with these people today. Like, this brother is so beautiful. You would have thought at 29 he would have got over whatever it was, but he didn't. Last week, Friday, he sat on that bridge and shot himself in the head. Left his money-making truck there and everything. It's sad. And we don't know our powers. It could have been a woman, I don't know, but all I know is there's a reason why men were designed to shoot hormones up in you to make you docile. And I don't know. Women are very powerful. Bobby Hemmett said there's power in the blood, especially the menstrual blood. So if you are going to bleed and you are going to eat what you want, at least start practicing your rites, your rituals. Not saying put something on somebody. I'm saying to better yourself, to open up cosmic doorways to yourself in the shadow realm, the dark side. You spilling all this blood, but you ain't doing no rituals. You ain't doing no rites. Something to really think about. So yes, women, preserve your plasma, preserve your honeycomb. Some of these minerals you can't get back. You possibly can't get them back unless you do 9 months in the womb. So let's try to hold on to these minerals, preserve them. Let's try to find alternative ways to keep the body balanced, because you should research these women bearing children and they don't bleed. Okay? So there we have it. Earn Earth the Magic. The truth will definitely set you free. Mwah.